everyone, and happy times. Tootsie Bird, Haven the Raven, and welcome to Elden Ring Catch Flame only. The rules are simple. I will only be allowed to use Catch Flame to deal damage to enemies. However, if anything relating to gravity happens, it happens. I'm not going to do the reset and lose all my runes thing that I did last time. Of course, we're starting as a prophet, because when you're starting as a prophet, you actually get Catch Flame. I was actually trying, because I was watching a bunch of competitive Pokemon in my off time, I was trying to make Incineroar. I think I ended up making something that looked kind of like Ganondorf instead. And so we have named our hero of this playthrough Incineroar. What are we doing for the keepsake? I'm either going with Crimson Amber Medallion or Golden Seed. This is a tough one, because we're not going to be able to level anything for survivability for a little while. I think we're going to be stuck at 10 Vigor until at least Godric. But Golden Seed is the best starting gift, usually. No, I'm gonna go with that just to make the early game easier, because you can get enough Golden Seeds. Just just by playing the game, you can get enough Golden Seeds. I might have to look up a couple locations. Okay, so since we're doing this, there's no point in having anything else equipped. How is our damage looking? Just right out the gate, how's our damage looking? They did... Yes, okay. I do have that equipped. Eventually, of course, I'm going to be able to get away from the Crimson Amber Medallion, but I just goofed that badly because Yep, okay, just kill me. Not even 5 minutes in. Already punched something when I meant to cast a spell at it. Okay. Well, we're going down. Because of the way things are in the early game, I think I'm gonna swap my flask loadout. Well, I know I have to swap my flask loadout. But fire is the most resisted damage type in this game. 275. Not bad. Although the range on this is abysmal. You've really done it now, Avon. Alright, you. Okay, that's actually a really nice use there. That is a really nice use. Being able to just go through shields. Or, well, not necessarily through, but you get my drift. Yeah, we're not going to be leveling health for a while. We are definitely not going to be leveling health for a while. Not with that damage. Okay, and then we have Soldier of Godric. I haven't gotten hit yet, so I don't anticipate this to be that tough, but... Okay, that actually wasn't bad. I'm anticipating this to be much worse as we go along, considering this is a melee spell. A seriously melee spell. But I've made a Duelist Moonblade work before on casual builds. The real problem is going to be things that are resistant or immune to fire. I looked it up. Supposedly, Fire Giant is only 50% resistant to fire. Which sounds like a lot, but keep in mind, I was expecting that thing to be completely immune. Like, I was expecting this to be, can you get to Fire Giant with Catch Flame only, because Fire Giant would have been immune. The fact that Fire Giant is not immune means that this run is theoretically possible. I just have to put in a lot of effort. I'll definitely want to go to the DLC actually to get the passive FP regeneration talisman. Yeah, I know how the Guidance of Grace works. This also means I need to spam click through all of your dialogue.
Of course, you unfortunate without guy you are fake. Luckily, are you familiar? You may also
Come on, just keep.
Great castle home. It's true castles.
There we go. Okay, there's a very real chance that I will actually wind up using the crafting kit more than I normally do. I should really do a consumable-only run of Elden Ring at some point. They went through this entire effort of giving us methods of crafting, and then nobody uses them. I feel a little bad about that, actually. Or, well, and then I don't use them. But that's a run for another time. I try not to do runs of the same game back to back. Or runs of the same type.
Selling where the land has its only time. Let's say.
There we go, crafting kit.
Goodbye.
At the moment, there's nothing that really is going to help me. However, if I beeline... You need the crafting kit specifically if you want to cross the Lake of Rot. Because they don't give you enough of the anti-rot boluses. Naturally. You have to make them if you want to get past that without spending forever. Particularly if you're not going to be tanky, which I'm not sure if we're going to wind up with a bunch of health by the time we hit there. Not with Incinedorf.
Have you heard? They sir, but you. I can play turning to aid you. You need only to the foot. Then it said summon me. Ah, I bequeath. Use it will sub-torrent. Treat him with...
Okay. We're getting rid of the heal. Normally, I'd keep heal on for this, actually.
Shall I turn? Let my hand share them with me.
However, in this one very specific case, I do not want to have heal equipped, because this game actually has healing spells do damage to certain enemies. And if I forget about that in the heat of battle against one of said certain enemies, I have just violated the rules of the run and need to die and restart the fight. Okay, nice to know you can pick that up anywhere. Oh boy. I forgot. Well. And we've officially run upon the first issue with this run. I need to be more careful. Or just... I need to either be more or less cautious. Doesn't really matter which. Really? Okay. Uh-oh. I thought you had a third. Oh, this is bad. Ah. Okay. This thing's gonna be a problem. I'm expecting to die a lot with this run. Just straight up, I will be dying a lot. I'm not used to melee being my only option, for one thing. And melee casting is always risky. What? I hit... That's not good. Come on, do something I can punish, please. There we go! Okay. That fight has never been so stressful. Okay. I will definitely need more than one healing flask for this one. Why am I going here, actually? There's a map right by the other one that I forgot to pick up. Are you joking?
I'd heard and upon looking the talk thou art to call forth the I was instructed by torrents. 'Tis a summon them the spirits now it is that.
Okay, can you leave so I can rest, please?
Before the time.
Level up. And there's a nice little thing for runes right over here. Because there's catacombs, which might be a bad idea for me to go through, not gonna lie. But I'm going to go through them regardless. There's only a certain amount of seals in this game, which might sound like a good thing, but I do actually need to do... hold up. Inventory. Let's see here. Incantation originating from a sinister prophecy. Flame of Ruin. Okay, huh. I'll have to look up if that is classified as a Flame of Ruin incantation and if there's a seal that buffs those. Because if there's a seal that buffs those, it's gonna be better than probably some of the ones with just a better scaling. Maybe. Alright, and it was either the right or the left. Left, okay. Oh boy. And we are already off to a terrible start on that front. Get that up to 20, and then mind up to 20. And then we worry about everything else. I'm anticipating death, so I really shouldn't be too cautious. Which sounds strange. But at the same time, oh dear. If I come back, I'll go back for something else. Okay, you can interrupt the jump. That is nice to know, actually. Oh my. Come on. Really? Thankfully, this is a short catacombs. Really? There we go. There we go. Down here. I see you in the corner. I hate the fact that that interrupts literally everything else you do. I also forgot that it does that. 495. I essentially need another 400 in order to level up. Where can I, or how can I quickly get 400? Nice to know that I can turn around quickly. Hey! I think I'm actually just going to grind those two for a few runs, just to get a level. Apologies for the sniffles. I think I'm coming down with a cold or something. Oh my. One more, and then I can go fight the watchdog. It's probably a bad idea, but I can also try my luck against Tree Sentinel. How did you miss me with that? Alright, and that is definitely enough for a level. Normally, you actually don't want to power level your damage stats. You want to stick with these 3 first. However, in this case, it might not increase my damage by much, but it is... it's going to be needed. I need to get those 2 up to 20 before I even think about anything else. Okay, ow. I don't normally fight these things. Uh-oh. Okay, I need to keep a better eye on my magic. I'm bad at fighting the burial watchdogs in general, but especially in melee. I don't normally do that. How did... Let's do that. It's early, I know it's early, but I also know that I definitely have the damage as long as I don't mess up. Yep. I hate these things. I go out of my way to not fight them. I'm just hoping that nothing I need for this run is going to be locked behind them. I seriously hope that nothing I outright need for this run is going to be locked behind a watchdog. I hate them. There we go. That... Okay, so pros and cons of this spell. The cons, it is melee. Melee spells are just by default not as good as ranged spells. If you are a melee caster, you are inherently at a disadvantage. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's also a fire spell. Which, well, that might not sound like a con, considering how good fire is in the DLC. It is a huge con, because fire has the most resisted... More enemies are resistant to fire than any other damage type in the game. Just straight up. And it's the only one that has immunities. When fire works, it works. But when it doesn't, you're in trouble. There's some bosses that I just flat out will not be able to beat because of this. And I'm definitely going to need a ton of damage in order to beat others. 200, I think I have a rune for that. However, it does have its pros. It is a very quick spell, so I'm not likely to get interrupted. It also doesn't use a ton of magic, which means that I can afford to miss a few hits, potentially speaking. And it's not going to cripple me. This will probably end up changing in the late game, but for the early game at least, I can... be a little... oh dear. Be a little greedier. How? Okay. That was decent damage, though. I'll try one more time, and then I'm gonna go around and collect some golden seeds. Because I will definitely need them. One of the easiest ways to get them would be patches. Really? Ah, I should have healed there. Oh well. That's really not bad in terms of damage. I just need a little... little bit of something. Yeah, beelining it to patches is probably pretty smart, actually. Because I'm just outright not going to be able to do a lot right now. First off. And second, because I don't have a ton in the way of runes to lose, if I somehow end up dying to patches, it's not a big deal. Of course, I should stay away from a Geel for now. I don't think I can deal with a Geel yet. Big dragon in the lake is definitely a no-no. Let's see here. Because not only does fire damage... I'm pretty sure that that thing's resistant to fire damage for one thing, and for another... We're in the middle of a lake, which increases fire defense. Yet another con of fire damage. Whee! Alright, I need to either defeat you or run far enough away that you don't come after me. Okay. Normally, I wouldn't allow this, but Yura will show up no matter what. Unless you kill him or something, which I'm not doing. That said, I forced him to use his, the flask before Yura even showed up. Which, okay, Catch Flame actually is pretty good at catching people off guard. Like that. Okay. Ow. Ow. Gloves? No gloves. Damn. I would very much have liked some gloves. Oh well. I think Patches' pants might be better than mine. So I will definitely be stealing those. Well, I have to steal them anyway. That's how you meet Patches. You steal his clothes. But... no, I thought I cleared that, but clearly I didn't. Huh. Alrighty. Oh, no. Worse. Okay, Patches might actually be... yeah, okay, Patches might actually be a problem. I think this is my first time ever dying to Patches. Just straight up my first time ever dying to Patches. It's certainly something. I don't know what that does, but...
Wait, please.
okay, thank you. Patches just had to humble me first.
I knew you would. You're a man of reason. True and true. Well, what do you... Now, how did I took you for an innocent... Well, water run... true. I'm back tarnished, like, only for now. In exchange for... Honestly, frankly. So don't be... I'll be ready to...
There we go. And this gets us access to a few things. First of all, of course, Patches' shop. Which I might actually use Margot's shackle this time. Or Morgoth's shackle. I forget which one it, or which of that guy's names it actually is. Really? I want gloves. Just give me gloves. Bastards, I know you drop gloves. I've gotten gloves from you.
Well, nice all a bit and welcome. You won't need them.
Buy that. He actually does have a... Okay, so he doesn't have the shackle yet. But he does have a stone sword key if I want... Oh wait, he does have the shackle. I'm dumb. 10k is a little much, but...
I mean, but it hardly matters. They're all foot-solid work to... Well, just something I'm... But then again, and besides... Cheers for that.
Yeah, let's go rest before I try that. Because while I can get some stuff in Mistwood, I actually don't want to risk running into one of those bears when I quite literally have no health. Off we go.
Hello again.
I'll buy one of these.
Cheers for... Forgot something. No, no trouble. Either way, really... And so, an extra spec. What's the treasure? Sure, it put a Patches drum. Cheers for that.
There we go. And this brings us into Mistwood, and I am at full health and full mana, so even if I do get attacked, I can actually do something about it. Of course, I'm going to do my best to be sneaky first and foremost. I will always do the Patches chest way of getting this. Because it saves me a lot of trouble. Okay, the well doesn't work yet. Shame. And there's a grace point here. I will pretty much always do the Patches thing for getting the Mistwood map. Because despite the fact that it is technically Patches being Patches and putting us in a trap, it puts us right next to the map. which is incredibly helpful, honestly, because I forget where exactly in Mistwood the map is most of the time. However, knowing that Patches puts me next to that makes getting it a lot less bloody than it otherwise would be. Rune bears are not really... Rune bears are no joke. Anybody who's fought a rune bear can tell you that they are not to be trifled with. Okay, do I? No. With that... I should really go back and get this map, shouldn't I? I know the early areas of the game well enough that it doesn't matter if I have the map or not. Rain. Rain, rain, go away, come again some other day. Ah, crap. Bye-bye. Rain is again water. And water makes fire weaker. Oh, Alexu! Hey, how you doing? Didn't expect you to pop in. And yeah, this is Elden Ring is a great game. I'm not gonna pretend otherwise. I am at the moment doing some early run prep. Because that is the only method I'm allowed to use to attack. Oh dear. Wait, what? What do you mean they told you I need help? Who told you I need help? Who's going around slandering me? This is a challenge run. Ah, okay. I've proven before that I can do every single boss in this solo. Even technically Consort, I just goofed up at the end of one and haven't gotten a good enough run since. Oh no. Oh my. I just got guard countered. I should be a little more cautious about that. Well, this is a pickle. Run away. This is a pickle I want no part of. You can keep your pickle! Seriously, how you doing, Alexo? Okay, we're gonna go down here. What do I want to do for routing? Because I know there's a golden seed up here. If I get 2 stone sword keys, there's a golden seed in here. Actually, beating the guy here will get me a 3rd. Roderica. Yeah, just a real challenge, good luck. Thank you. This is my 2nd starter spell for this kind of challenge. Let's actually go save Bach. My first one was Magic Glint Blade. Which, that was somehow easier than how I normally play. This is not going to be easier, I can already tell.
Some clock. You will just thank you. I was pushed out and I ended up as a troop. Oh, when they... And so this is all I hope.
I will gladly take the mushroom, thank you.
Then I'd... Right,
but Magic Glint Blade only was actually pretty easy for me, although that could just be because I'm used to using Magic Glint Blade as part of my arsenal regardless. However, I keep... Oh dear. I haven't actually beaten that one entirely because Consort is a bitch. You know what? I don't want to deal with you. Let's go rescue Salin. And then pivot into the Kenneth stuff. Or, well, start the Kenneth stuff. I actually don't have much confidence in my ability to beat that at the moment. But I am curious to see if it's possible to beat the game... Oh dear. With every single starter spell. Like, how good are starter spells in FromSoft games, is my question. Magic Glint Blade, I managed to get every single Remembrance boss except Consort. This one, I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to get Rykard because it's Rykard. But I'm still gonna try for as many Remembrance bosses as possible. I have some cool redeems. Oh dear. I see someone's looking through. I'm not gonna bother with actually talking to Selin yet, but for when I need her, here we are. Let's go back to Kenneth. Or back, I say, as if I actually... Yeah. Let's go meet Kenneth. Lore redeem? Basically, you ask me questions about something. Well, you ask me to explain something, and I tell you what I know. If I don't know something, then I will look it up. But generally speaking, I'm pretty good with lore. Aha, there's the Grace. That one's honestly only been redeemed a couple of times. Most people want the silly redeems. But I don't mind doing the silly redeems. However, quick note, I will just completely... I will refund you if you give me a... redeem that contradicts the rules of any given run. Yeah, yes and no. If I have, like, it was meant for, the lore redeem was meant for, game lore. But, for example, Pikachu had a question about bread at one point, and so asked me to give some lore related to bread. Like real world lore related to bread. I forget her exact question and my exact response. Not gonna lie. Although with real world lore, you run the risk of me repeating a few things. Because I sometimes have the memory of a goldfish. Oh, bread is definitely important. All hail bread.
Is anybody there? Someone who might be interested in rescuing the...
Alright, let's get you to shut up.
Servant to the true order and celebrated repudiate... Ah, well, fellow, despite it might have untarnished, I want you to knight command. What are you, my fool? Oh, I fret not a celebration.
Alright. Whee! And now I can go around. I try to avoid going directly through Mistwood because rune bearers are annoying. And you will get spotted. Hence why I did the patches thing earlier. I forgot there was a graveyard over here. Is there anything good? Just a sacrificial twig. Okay. Depends on the kind of bread. Generally speaking, yes, American bread is pretty processed. But you can always just make your own, for example. Or, That was the wrong button. get some of the less processed stuff, you have to go looking for it, of course. But the less processed stuff is better both in taste and for you. I'm not going to be able to deal with Kenneth at the or Kenneth's quest at the moment. However, that golden seed is going to be handy. Actually, 3 and 2 should be fine for now. Again, I'm going to want the physic thingy from that. And now that I've rested, will you actually let me go below the well in Mistwood? Oh, my pronouns for today are they, them. Thank you for asking, and thank you for the redeem. I completed that, and I completed that. I'm just going to unlock this for later because I am nowhere near strong enough to actually handle the stuff down here yet. I am going to want the grace. Or actually, hang on, there's a golden seed down here. Yeah, it makes me groan whenever people say that pronouns aren't important, because, I mean, everybody uses them to some degree. I is a pronoun. You is a pronoun. It. It's just ridiculous. I am... Oh, thank you for the redeem, Alexu. I am by no means strong enough to handle anything down here, but I am going to run around and collect things nonetheless, because there is a golden seed. And considering there's only a maximum of 14 flasks in the game, getting as many as possible in the early game is huge. Really? Because there's one here, one at the top of Stormveil. I can grab a seed from Kalid after taking out a Mariner. And speaking to D. And then there's 2 from Tree Spirits that I know about. And one of those will also actually, if I care to explore it, net me a new seal. I believe that one's locked behind 2 stone sword keys, though, so that might not be very practical to go for. At the end of the day, I want the seal that will do the most for my build. I'll dip into intelligence if I have to, but this is primarily going to be a faith build. Hey! There we go. Any of the clips with bot farmers? No, I did not. No, that was something that was recommended to me, I believe, was to make a here redeem. Like, directly from chat. It was either from chat or from something on Discord. One of the two. Preserving boluses, that'll be helpful later. That will be helpful later because I do plan on going through the Lake of Rots. Can I? Thank you. Worth it. But once I get a few golden seeds, then I think I'll be able to tackle Margit. Ah! Honestly, I could probably tackle Margit now. But at the same time, I'm a little concerned. I need more equipment. I see that. Huh. I must admit that I don't quite understand how that works. Okay, since I'm down here, and pardon for the belch, by the way. Let's light all of these. I am by no means strong enough to tackle Ancestor Spirit right now, especially when we take into consideration the fact that I will be doing less damage to it because it's in water. But I can unlock it while I'm going for the thing. The golden seed. There we go. I'm not going to bother stopping to kill things to collect runes because there's a very real possibility I just straight up die. I keep hitting the wrong button. Why do I keep doing that? Normally I'd say that's a good idea, but in my case, specifically, a hydration redeem would be redundant. I take a sip of water, or whatever it is I have on hand, when I'm thirsty. That's usually when I turn off my mic, so you can hear me shuffling around with the mic. Oh, thank you for the suggestion. I will look into it. Have to admit, I'm not a big fan of shooters, though, and that sounds kind of shootery. I'm not going to play something that I'm going to have a miserable time with. Because if I'm having a miserable time, then my audience is also going to have a miserable time. And that's no fun for anyone. There should be at least one more of you. Ah! Okay. Decision soap / TV type game. What? Is it on PS5? Because currently I do not have access to PC gaming. I should not have just rushed him. I really should not have just straight up rushed him. My bad. I was a fool. Probably shouldn't put that in past tense. I'll read that when I'm not being chased. Where are you? There you are. Superhero workplace comedy. Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah, I will look into that. Quick note about me with those with the suggested game redeems. The suggested game sits in purgatory, redeem purgatory, until I get done, or until I actually decide whether or not I will play it. If I decide I will play it, I will click accept. If I decide I will not, then it gets refunded. It's 5 points, so in the grand scheme of things, it might not matter either way. Still worth pointing out. Well, I am a little limited in what I can do for getting new games. So I just have them sit in my redeem thing. One, two, three, you're dead. Like, I only just got around to getting 9 souls, and that was requested a long time ago. And 9 souls is still going to have to wait until I, at the very least, beat Dragon's Dogma 2. Which, actually, I had... because my money from Twitch came in the other day, I was able to get myself a couple games that were on sale. I wound up getting 9 souls, Bayonetta, and... because it's kind of a crime that I, as a queer person, have not played Bayonetta. And a game called Solar Ash that I've never heard of, but looked really cool and was on sale.
Customer.
Actually, you have... hang on.
Next.
Hold up. You actually have a couple... that is... yeah, I want your stuff there. Hang on. But I do actually look into the ones that get recommended. I actually don't know if Piku was being serious when she recommended Hello Kitty Island, though. I should ask that. Because if she wasn't being serious, I'm just going to refund her on that. If she was being serious, then I have to look into Hello Kitty Island. Soap. Okay.
Goodbye till...
Hang on, I forgot to grab the map. The map was like right here. Where are you? Or actually, let's rest because I'm going to get jumped. Cool, and now I can start looking into either stamina or HP. Okay. On the problem is that on the off chance I will want to play it, I have to try and remain relatively spoiler-free. Because especially with things like comedy, the reaction is part of the fun with the content. So I will keep that in mind, thank you. But if I decide to watch too much of it, I really shouldn't get it for, oh dear, streaming purposes. Okay, where did I miss the map? I know. Or wait a second, the map's over here. Never mind, I forgot that Siofra doesn't work, or Siofra doesn't work the same way everywhere else does. Oh good, we found it. But with... Okay, so I now have what I need for getting another golden seed. I forgot that that one merchant just outright sold 3 stone sword keys. I actually should go write down all of the games that have been recommended to me, because I've got a bunch. 9 Souls was like one of the first. Or, well, not one of the first, but 9 Souls actually got recommended to me before I had a recommendation redeem. My sister really wants me to play Terraria, despite the fact that she doesn't watch my content very much. I think she just wants to hear me scream through the walls. Because she's sadistic. Alright. I'm going to do... you. And we're gonna get rid of you. Or actually, I should get rid of you first. Yikes, I definitely need a way to up my damage. 4 hits to take these things out is not good when I have a limited number of hits I can actually do, period. I'm probably just gonna suicide run to that one, honestly. Just to light it. Actually, granted, this area is higher than higher level than I'm supposed to be dealing with. Like, this is a much stronger area than I should be dealing with at present. Ooh, boy. Now this is interesting, because I do actually go off onto little lore tangents on my own, even without being directed. But giving me a direction for my lore ramblings, and you're telling me to go off on my favorite lore tangents. Oh, what is my favorite lore tidbit? I honestly think that the turnaround, as far as Mikola went, was wonderfully done. We start off the game thinking that Mikola was this wholesome messiah character. And then we find out that he was, in some ways, worse than his mom. Which is saying something. Ah! I just got so lucky. And that the person, or, yeah, the person we thought was one of the biggest scumbags in this game turned out to be the victim in that situation. Which, seriously. I did. I actually did not realize that I'd misspelled start, of all things. I'll have to look at that later. Thank you for pointing that out. Nobody has pointed that out to me yet. Ah, dear. You were quite literally the first person to point that out. No, I'm just laughing at the fact that it's made it several months. Without being caught until this point. That spelling error. That is a several-month-old spelling error that nobody has caught. And lore has been redeemed a few times. So I'm just laughing at the absurdity of it. Ah! I'm caught in a bush! No! Alright, so I actually have 3 different spots I can go now. I could rush Margit. I could go to... Or I could tackle... the first Tibia Mariner. Or I could go back to the stranded graveyard. Yeah, I don't understand why people skip lore, honestly. I love lore. I should do this. Alright, and I outright cannot do anything with that yet. Let's actually go kickstart the Roderica quest. Because that'll get me another one of these. What's another bit of lore that I like about this game? The fact that Radon was touted as the strongest, and he probably was the strongest demigod pre-shattering, yet still got his ass handed to him by Morgott is hilarious to me. Like, that genuinely makes me laugh. You actually give a golden seed if I do your quest.
Only to have did you know it's quite them. You're all heading to some ties now that I don't have it's scared. I want to know nothing. Can you take and still be glad
it's not even really directly referenced is the part that makes it even funnier. Like, I think it's mentioned before that Leyndell was under siege at some point, and Morgott protected Leyndell. But the only way you would know that it was specifically Radon that Morgott beat would be to pay attention to the opening cutscene. That is the only spot where you see it. That is the only spot where it shows that Morgott and Radahn ever fought. Wait, where am I? Okay. And that's hilarious for a couple reasons. The biggest one being it makes the fact that Melania had to nuke an entire section of the continent to defeat Radahn a lot more embarrassing for her. Let me collect this. Back here, and then we continue along this path. What other cool tidbits of lore are there? I'm actually very confused about the timeline with the DLC. Because of, and specifically because of R'hllana. Like, R'hllana deciding to follow Mesmer was sweet. But it also makes me wonder just how long these crusades went on for. And when in the timeline they happened.
Hello? Can you hear me? Help me. I'm stuck.
Oh, I am peace. My thanks.
Just give and I'll... Don't dally. Give it your all.
Yes, you can finish the DLC before the main game. That wasn't the part I was confused about. It was the fact that R'hllana was willing to leave the Carians to work with Mesmer. Because during the early days of the Golden Order, the Carians were at war with the Golden Order. So when exactly... It is very possible that the Crusades were just, or in the Land of Shadow, were just going on for a long time. In some ways, they are actually still going on by the time we reach them. Or by the time we reach the DLC. But that really does call into question how did R'hllana know about Mesmer in order to go and join him. Like, don't get me wrong, Rolana is really cool, however, she is, at the same time, a giant question mark. Because it would have... The way it's talked about in the lore... oh dear. The bulk of Mesmer's destruction, we'll call it. Oh dear. Was committed before Marika even... Oh dear. Set foot in the lands between. Yet the war between the Golden Order and the Carians happened after that. So when exactly could Rolana have met Mesmer? Like, and it would have had to have been after the war, otherwise I'm pretty sure Renala would be dead. Because those two do actually care about each other. That part is still part of the lore. They do care about each other. Rolana just went to go with Mesmer. When exactly did that happen? I'm probably about to die a horrible death. Okay, or not. Not works too. That means I don't have to come back this way, which is nice. But yeah, an official video to explain the timeline at least would be nice. 'Cause we know that Marika gave up on Mesmer at some point. Was it because Marika gave up on Mesmer that Rolana defended? Or defected? Actually, that would make a lot of sense. With what we know about the timeline of things, it actually would make a ton of sense for Rolana to have defected after that, or in response to Marika abandoning Mesmer.
Oh, am I? Are you here as a customer? I'm afraid
I do see the joke, I'm just still stuck on the lore brain. The general consensus regarding Rolana is that she was mesmerized.
Death has left its mark. The unknown heed my the village here worse if you
But it could be simple compassion.
the turn back. The village turn back.
Was that pun good enough for your redeem, Alexu? It's one I've used before, which is why I'm hesitating to call that a proper joke. Do. Joke redeems have a bit of a delay if they come before lore. What? Hey. Oh, you redeemed the joke before the lore and it just didn't come in? Ah, it was a joke. Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Oh boy. I might not be able to tackle this one. Okay, I should be fine. I unfortunately cannot do crits with this. Haha. Good riddance. Lore brain versus joke brain. Yeah. Yeah. My jokes are mostly puns, honestly.
Another with a proud. How would you like if you're inclined? I'll introduce. I have a matter in the beast. What say you? Very well. I've marked them. It will lead. I spotted an ill or someone and must.
Okie dokie. Do the flames have a holy affinity? No. No, these are... just that. And the flames themselves are fire purified fall. Hello, sir. How you doing? Go down here. Go turn in some things at Garunk. Where is... there we go. And then after we turn in these at Garunk, I should be able to reach the round table. And then it's just a matter of, do I want to go do Stranded Graveyard yet? Because that is actually a pretty tough one. I have one golden seed. I think I need 2 to level up my flask at this point.
I smell feeding me. Tarnished, I shall feed me. I feed me.
Alright, does this have an... no, mine is currently better. I need something that greatly boosts Catch Flame. All sorceries and incantations have something. Not something. Some kind of classification. A category, if you will. Can any other gear or armor help you? Can you drop the collar? I'm gonna have to collect things as I go. I am just gonna have to collect things as I go. I can collect a Fire Scorpion charm and any incant boosting charms as I go along. I am not dealing with a putrid avatar right now. I'm trying to beeline it for a map. From what you know, the collar needs a quest to drop it. What? What collar are you speaking of? Oh, no. That is just part of the outfit. It's raining, so I don't have too high hopes of being able to actually do this, but we can try. The see-through reactor is headed. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely not going to be able to do this. Let's go. Rest. I'd love to do something like that, honestly, but unfortunately I don't have access to good editing software at the moment. So the splicing will have to wait.
Forgive me. To determine if you had the metal. It seems my torrent, whereas I'm in. There is, but I can take gathering. Very well.
And we go. I'll worry about actually coming here later and doing stuff. Alright, so I have a couple of options here. Actually, let's go down here first. Because I only have 126 runes, it's not like I'm going to be in too bad a way if I lose those. Oh dear. I might legitimately not be able to beat him yet. Okay. Yeah, I kind of need to catch him. Oh well. Should I head into Stormveil or do Stranded Graveyard? Margit is definitely easier. But actually, let's go here. I'm a little worried, honestly, because Margit can sometimes be a problem. I have beaten him at level 1 before, but that was with melee. Or, well, with melee. Running into walls until they broke, which is fair. That is a perfectly valid method of doing things. I am just trying to keep things relatively entertaining, and if I beat my head against the same wall for too long, people get bored. How do I know this? I attempted Pantheon 4 and Hollow Knight. That's fair, that's fair. How did I live that? How did I not hit that? Full games. Yeah, I can imagine, actually. Bloodhound Knights are pretty nasty. I could also head into the Weeping Peninsula, actually. You're a bit confused? I don't think there is anything like that, though. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay. I don't think there's anything that's actually class-bound in this one. Alexo. Like, I could be wrong. I could very much be wrong, but I don't recall hearing anything about that. Or if I do, it was cut content. And if it was cut content and it was something that couldn't be removed, it was probably Prisoner. It was probably the Prisoner mask. There's a Grace around here. Where is it? Like, there is a Grace at the foot of this. There we go. You know what? Let's get into Stormveil, we'll go out, we'll see how Margit goes. And go from there. Honestly, for outdoor bosses, I have to be careful that it's not raining when I go to fight them. Because fire damage does less in the rain. It is, without a doubt, the damage type with the most nuance. But hey, wouldn't be a challenge without some road bumps. I am probably going to get my ass handed to me here. Okay, that's not bad. That is actually not bad damage. You know, you can actually land attacks in Sinadorf. Wait, what just happened in the chat? What? I dodged. Yep. Okay, okay. What? I hit dodge. Yep, that explains it. That explains it. Nightbot just deleted some bot spam. Okay. So Margit is looking doable as long as Incinadorf dodges. Started from the bots, and now we're here. Alright then. Come on. Margit, what are you doing? Oh, that was... Yep. Ah. What do you mean that didn't hit? Nope. Let's get away from the edge of the arena. Are you joking? What? Oh dear. I'll look at that message in a second. What? I hit. Ugh. Okay, no, it is literally just, hang on. Robe of exiled prophets who foretold misfortune and were persecuted and driven from their homes as a result. The shackles around the neck warn passers-by not to lend an ear to their sermons. Okay. So yeah, lore-wise, that is what's going on here. However, gameplay-wise, you can take it off at any point. Although if you're talking about altering the outfit... itself, that's probably Bach's questline. Yep. Okay.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly run in thy veins. Tarnished.
Just to prevent... Uh-oh. Come on. Why did that not hit? Come on. There we go. Oh, Negan, hello. How are you today? I was planning on tackling Bach's quest at some point anyway. I think I actually am going to level up health a little, so I can actually take some hits. Fair enough, fair enough. But let's go actually see if Bach does remove the neck piece from the robe, because I am curious. Well, as you can see, I just killed the first major boss of the run. Honestly, today has been mostly prep. That said, I don't even have Night Rain, so I don't know where you got that from. I passed the cave.
I don't want any trouble.
Done? Well, the only way.
You actually don't need to complete the entire quest in order to unlock his services as a, seamster. I cannot see where I am going to save my life, so I'm just gonna go forward blindly. Quick warning, this might not be possible for me at the moment. Uh-oh. Because this is a bit of a rough one. Oh dear, oh dear. Damn it. Yeah, I'm a little under-equipped for this at the moment. With my talisman, I have 528. Health. Can you... Damn it. Ooh, marshmallows. Sorry. No, spells are incapable of doing crits. Damn it! Problem is, I need to take out the little guys before I take out the big guy. I'm gonna give this one more attempt and then I'm gonna leave because I'm just getting completely and utterly rushed. Oh no. Come on. There we go. Uh-oh. There we are. Okay. Can I lure... you over without alerting? Come on. There we go. Okay. Thank you for the GGs. The problem was I kept getting rushed, and if you get rushed when you have no method of crowd control, you are done for. I should really go grab a lamp. Because I can do that to briefly light up the area, but it doesn't help much. Uh-oh. You couldn't see anything? Oh no. Well, I definitely need that lamp for dealing with the caves. That was bad. I will probably wind up rushing Weeping Peninsula once I give the needle to Bach. Oh, I know, and it pains me to leave a Golden-Eyed enemy alive, considering they drop extra runes. However, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to beat that fight.
Oh. Wait, you got it.
And I almost didn't, because I ended up having to use, I believe, my last flask just to get out of the cave.
What made my mum, and that's so I always... Thank you're very... I always... You're very... I always wanted to...
Okay, and now we try to find our way blind out of this cave. There we go. Sneaky. And from here, I can very quickly get Bach. Because what they don't tell you is that you can go around Stormveil and into Liurnia. Thank you for the redeem, Negan. And then I'll rush Weeping Peninsula. Lore on Stormveil Castle. Ooh. I honestly know more about the denizens. What? You... Hold on, give me a second. Alright, so... Stormveil Castle lore. Thank you for the redeem, Alexu. So, the Banished Knight... I actually don't know too much about the Banished Knights, aside from the fact that they were, well, banished. But I do know that it is the home of Godric the Grafted. We learned from Kenneth that Godric fought Melania, although fought might be giving Godric a little too much credit there. And she left after he basically prostrated himself in front of her. We know that they collect bodies in order to fuel Godric's grafting. And that there is a lot of death root around there. Not the nascent things that we give to Garunk. There are walls of death root.
Could you help, please? Allow me to... I'm happy to make... Please.
Yep, you can take off the thing with Bach. Let's see. Why did I even do that? I want to go over here. Or actually, no. First I want to go back to Stormhill Shack, because activating that side of grace automatically removes Roderica. Yeah, we know that, Melania beat up Godric. You missed half the Lord's ads. Okay. You can't exactly see it from here, but... Actually, let's go back to Margit's Arena. The castle itself bears evidence of a siege. The fact that it is still standing, and still standing proud, with that going on in the distance, is something to commemorate, honestly. Something took a chunk out of Stormveil Castle, and I want to say that it was Melania's crew. Or, well, Melania's army. However, it could just as easily have been the Black Knives, or Godwyn. Because underneath... Alright, so we know that it's like way up in the north where Godwyn died. We can find the bulk of his body there, but there is a fragment of it below Stormveil, which is really, really interesting to note. Especially considering there's deathroot growing all over the place in here, and not the nascent stuff we give to Garunk. Full-on walls of deathroot exist in Stormveil. Which honestly could have been brought on by Godric's grafting. I'd love to see what the underground area... or what the underground areas look like under Stormveil, honestly, because we don't really get to see that. We get to see Stormveil's basement. Considering the fact the Tarnished does it solo, I honestly don't think an army was necessary. Well, Roderica stays at the spirit, or at the round table as a spirit tuner, specifically because she doesn't want to leave Hugh. Hugh stays because he has nothing left outside. He has nothing left outside of the round table. Part of the thing with the Halig tree, though, is that it was never actually attacked. The closest thing to the Halig tree being attacked was Moog absconding with Mikola.
But I swear my good father decided to... The servants, they've since come. I fear it's release. Would you mind doing my soul wish, please? Thank you. Then please, deliver it to...
But even then, I'm fairly certain Moog just kind of teleported into the middle of it or something. Or the door was left open for him on purpose, considering how that was planned. It's also possible that Melania and Mikola did something to anger Moog on purpose, and then proceeded to back off. And then Moog, when he went to go get revenge, ended up getting charmed by Mikola. That is also a possibility. You teleport in to fight Melania and Hope warps out. Honestly, Melania... she has her bullshit, and I definitely think her healing should be nerfed. Like, everything else about her is honestly fine. And you can deal with it. As long as you're paying attention, of course. But her healing definitely needs to be nerfed. Anyway. Back on the topic of Stormveil, since that's what you wanted lore about. We don't know how exactly Godric ended up being Lord of Stormveil. But we can actually assume that it was initially the Height family that ruled Stormveil, because Kenneth says that he was the rightful ruler of all of Limgrave. And while that's something that could definitely be debated, as soon as there's a possibility that Kenneth was telling the truth there. Considering that at the end of the Kenneth Nepheli questline, they all move to Godric's boss room. Stormveil is very clearly the seat of power in Limgrave specifically. And I actually don't know how Godric got control of Stormveil. But somewhere along the lines, somewhere along the way, it happened. But if Kenneth was telling the truth about being the rightful ruler of Limgrave, then he would have been the one, or rather his family would have been the ones in control of Stormveil prior to that. Which would call Fort Heights into question a little. Although that could just be like a getaway home or something. Probably got overthrown by Melania. No, I don't think so. Because it specifically is stated that... Oh dear. Oh, okay, I need to come back for those souls. It's specifically stated that Godric was defeated by Melania. Not that Limgrave was defeated by Melania. Depending on the age of Stormveil Castle and the Height family, it's possible that the Heights were in control of Limgrave and then swore fealty to the Golden Lineage, to Marika and her children. Following that, they, as non-combatants, would have been driven out by Godric at some point after the Shattering. I could be completely wrong. I honestly don't know much about Kenneth. This is just speculation. Let's see. You have a theory that Hugh is the reason Marika exists. He was interested in the Marika she got. I don't think so. Honestly, like, Hugh definitely did something, or was something, that Marika feared. There is no other reason to have him locked up in the Round Table the way he is. However, it is pretty much directly stated that Marika charmed her way through, or charmed her way into the Hornsent's good graces. And the Hornsent were using shamans, Marika's people, one branch of Newman. In order, or as experiments in order to chase divinity. Because their flesh was malleable. They were a really, really good baseline for these experiments because of something to do with either the shamans specifically or Newman in general. As a result, yeah, she turns the tables on the Hornsent, yeah. But I'm honestly willing to bet that the Hornsent had always planned on using a shaman as a puppet god. Marika just refused to be a puppet. Because that was... everything the Hornsent did was in pursuit of divinity. Literally every atrocity they'd committed. While... because they would melt down, for lack of a better term, the shamans into the pots. The divine gate itself is made from the bodies of Marika's people, etc., etc., etc. Those are the two. There's probably more, but those are the two that come to mind. They were specifically using the shamans in pursuit of divinity. And there's no saying that divinity is only to be had by one individual at a time. So my best guess on that was that they fully intended to let Marika have the power. However, they were using her as a test run to see if it was possible for they themselves to gain that power. And she just never let them finish their test. Do you think a human mind capable of understanding immortality and its power? That is a largely individual question, honestly. Because if we're talking real world, some people are very open-minded, or they think about everything deeply. And then there's others that can't even comprehend that someone likes a different condiment on their sandwich than them, and it completely breaks their brain. So I think it depends on the individual.
What has been? How can I help?
Lamp. You can help by lamp. Where? There we go. Alright, now, I think I actually do want to go unlock Stranded Graveyard at least. I want to check some things. I can get a golden seed from this if I care to. But right now I'm running around with 8 flasks out of 14. Do I have a means? I do not currently have a means of dealing with poison. Great. Can I make them? No. Well, I'm just gonna have to hope that I can get the dragon one easily. I don't normally fuck with fringe folk, but yeah, I knew it. Okay. I'm not gonna bother killing anything that isn't strictly necessary. That is possible. Technically speaking, it is possible that her mind broke. Oh dear. However, thank you. I explained this at the beginning of stream, but I was actually, because when I went and I pre-make all of my characters for these before I actually go through and and do the runs, at least in the games that will let me. And I'd been intending to make Incineroar because I was watching a bunch of competitive Pokemon at the time and thought it would be funny. And then I wound up making something that kind of resembled Ganondorf. I don't know how exactly that happened. So I said fuck it, and we are now named Incinidorf. Like, it's definitely possible, or back on the prior topic, it is definitely possible that Marika's brain broke, and that's where Ratigan came from. However, I'm less inclined to think that with knowing that Ratigan has to be Mesmer's father. and the whole Mikola thing. Because Radigan Marika, or the Radigan Marika situation is the exact same as the Mikola Trina situation. So while it is possible that that is a... oh dear. Okay, so I pretty much just need to... oh boy. While it is definitely possible that it's a side effect of divinity and the breaking of the mortal mind to embrace divinity, it's also entirely possible that that was just a genetic quirk. Because Mikola honestly was the child that resembled Marika the most. Are you... I just want to get to the end to see if I can just grab the Dragon Communion Seal real quick, or if I have to actually deal with the guy. Because I can't remember... but I definitely need a better seal before going up against Godric. And currently, the Clawmark seal is slightly weaker. Than what I have equipped. Are you joking? I didn't get a hit off. How did I... That only works in the case of... ah, crap. I hate this thing. Damn it! How am I Alright, I'm done with this for now. Because if that thing catches me on this stretch, it just goes so quickly I can't escape and I die. Alright, disheartening. While it is technically possible that she did have the children all on her own without the involvement of the men, the only time that that really works is if we're thinking about Godwin. Or, well, I guess it could work in regards to Morgott and Moog too. Godfrey could have just been that good of a father to not care, but typically speaking, adoption and the like aren't talked about much in video games. It is, at the end of the day, it is possible that Marika's children were just offshoots of her, but that doesn't work in regards to the Karian children. But that just outright does not work. Technically speaking, it also doesn't work with Mikola or Melania. Or Mesmer. Because, again, Radigan and Marika are the same person, essentially. Or, well, they share a body, but they are different people, fundamentally. So, Radigan would have had to have been involved at least. Royalty blood is important, imagine the opposite. I suppose that is a fair statement to make. But it outright doesn't work with the Karians. And considering Radigan and Marika are the same person, it doesn't really work with any of the pre- or post-Godfrey children either. Maybe the first three. Maybe the children she had, or, well, the first three we knew about. Maybe the children with Godfrey were not actually with Godfrey. I can see that. Are you fucking kidding me? There we go. Yeah, they are definitely children of Marika, but, Renala's not a dude. She could be trans, of course. but honestly, the one with the the one character in this game that comes off as the most trans is Ronnie, or most potentially trans. She literally discarded her body. Well, yeah, okay, so Radigan and Marika are sort of trans in that respect. Sure, but, actually, no, they're not, they wouldn't. Oh dear, I messed up. It's over there, that's why, okay. No, being two people is not the same as being trans, even, unless they were, like, taking over one another's bodies. Crap. Oh dear. Midpoint of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I was not aware that there was a canonical midpoint to that. But Radigan would have had to, like, Radigan specifically, not Marika, would have had to have been involved in the Karian children. Unless Marika took over... Oh, you know the Mr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll. Yeah, they're different people, though, essentially. Like, they share a body, but they are different people. Pretending otherwise does them both a disservice. That was, like, the whole point. At least from what I understand. I've never actually read the books. Or book. I don't know how much there was of that, honestly. But yeah, that's why... At first, yeah, Radigan is Marika. They're the same person. And it does sound very trans, but at the same time, when you stop and think about it, no. Oh dear. Okay, we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Can I hit you, please? Thank you! I think I'll upgrade my regular finger seal for now. Let's go back to... Forgot about the quick key. What was I saying again? Okay. Let's go test it out on Alberich. let's use up some runes. $500 more. Well, sorry. Oh, sorry, it was 400 more than I needed, but I only had the 800. Die. I was not fast enough. Okay, you only had the one. Nice to know. I hate the fact that I am sometimes faster and sometimes not. It's like if I want the spam strategy to work, I kind of have to waste a spell. Though it's good to see that I was actually able to do that. Anyway, I'm gonna head back up to the rest of the round table and call it. I went a little over for the sake of our earlier discussion. If you're interested in anything I've done up until this point, you can check out my YouTube channel. I try to upload stuff same day, and I group my runs by playlist so they're easier to find. Oh, thank you for the follow, Alexu! If you're interested in oh, you like the sound of the cipher pad? Yeah, I'll have to try a run with that at some point. If you're interested in seeing my announcements, I post them to my stories here on Twitch, to YouTube, and currently also to Instagram. If you would like to see my clips in an easier fashion, I post them to YouTube, currently to TikTok, and when it lets me, currently to Instagram. The links to all of that are in the chat now. If you've made it this far and are curious to see where I go from here, why not drop a follow? It takes but one button press, and you can always, change your mind if you decide my content isn't for you. Tomorrow I'll be continuing this, and I will probably just head into Stormveil. I'll probably be doing Stormveil tomorrow. I've actually done a lot for the first thing of, or for the first day of a run. Well, I'll be doing either Stormveil or Castle Morne. We'll decide that tomorrow. Wednesday, it's back to Lords of the Fallen with Karato, and Thursday and Friday, it'll be back to Dragon's Dogma 2. I don't, well, on Wednesday, or tomorrow, more Elden Ring. Wednesday, Lords of the Fallen with Karato. We should be heading into the Fief of the Chill Curse. And Thursday, Friday, it's back to Dragon's Dogma 2. I will be continuing the main quest. Yeah. One moment. Piku is, in fact, live, so let's go say hi to her. I'm gonna have to raid and run, though, because I don't want spoilers for Lies of P. That said, happy time zones, everyone. And I hope you all have an excellent day.